let's give you the grid for the race then. Starting on pole position, it is going to be Bailey Stewart Campbell. He's going to be on his own on the front row of Evan Belford, saying he wants to stay out of everything today and let the others race, which is good to see. Johnny Garness and Eddie O'Shea will be on row number 2. Then it's going to be James Cook and Ollie Walker, row 3. Thomas Gomez and Owen Mellor, row number 4. Dylan Mellor and Carter Brown, row 5. Alfie Davidson and Carl Payne, row 6. Harrison McKay and Harrison Crosby, row 7. Ryan Hitchcock and Joe Farragher will be row 8. Jamie Woodcock will be on row number 9. So we are going to be missing Evan Belford from the outside of the front row, but hopefully everyone else is in there. Looks like we're missing perhaps a couple of other riders as well in Johnny Garness and Thomas Gomez, but we will wait and see if those guys line up, and this is going to be a good one. Although their champion is crowned, Mini GP70 always very close, and there's still some other places up the front of the order in the championship to be settled, so watch out for live championship updates throughout the race. But Mini GP70 time, our premier class in the FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship, the official partner series of the BSB, and the Road to MotoGP, which Evan Belford is already riding down after crowning himself champion. Liam, race start.
Thank you very much, Chris McCarthy. So race number 2 of the Mini GP70s, and you can see that Bailey Stewart Campbell is on the front row of the grid by himself. Evan Belford has wrapped up the championship, so he will not be getting in the title fight between Eddie O'Shea and Bailey Stewart Campbell for second position. Johnny Garness seems to be missing from row number 2 in third spot, so Johnny Garness missed out in the LC40 Elite race earlier on and tends to be missing out today, so not sure what's happened with Johnny Garness, but the tension is rising, the revs are hitting peak, and we will see the green flag dropped as soon as our race organiser Roger gets to it and shakes off the water from it. So with all the riders ready and waiting to go, the green flag is up and revs rise and away they go. Bailey Stewart Campbell from the front row of the grid gets an absolute flyer, but Eddie O'Shea round the outside, late on the brakes, foot down. Has he done it? Yeah, he has done. What an incredible move from Eddie O'Shea on lap number 1 around the outside of Bailey Stewart Campbell. This is the battle for second in the championship. O'Shea and Stewart Campbell in third position. It's Ollie Walker, so Ollie Walker does go well in these wet conditions, and just behind them James Cook is making a move up the inside of Alfie Davidson. Alfie Davidson coming from row number 6. Alfie Davidson from 11th spot on the grid, already in 4th, and we've had a rider down. That's Carter Brown, tagged the back of one of the riders in front, so Carter Brown has gone down, and shame there for Carter Brown, who had a big accident yesterday. He's back up and in the race again. Something hanging from, is that a gear lever hanging? Yes it is, it looks like his gear lever is hanging off the side of his bike, but Alfie Davidson is on a move at the moment. He's already up to second. Eddie O'Shea is away running with this race. Alfie Davidson from 11th on the grid is already up to second, but moves back to third and switch back again as Ollie Walker made the move. Alfie Davidson takes it again into turn number 1, but Eddie O'Shea leads the race by over 2.9 seconds. Further back, we've got one of the Mellors trying to make a move on Bailey Stewart Campbell. That's Dylan Mellor up the inside into 4th spot as he went into turn number 4. At the early stages of this race, Chris, everything is up for grabs.
Well, what a dramatic start to the race. As you said, a shame there with a rider going down in the early stages, but Carter Brown, when it's not meant to be your weekend, it is just not meant to be. But a fantastic move at the first corner there from Eddie O'Shea, taking advantage of it. No, rider down. We've got someone else down over at turn Crosby 7. Yes, indeed, it's Harrison Crosby who has gone down. That is a real shame. Was going off P14, had got up to P7 and is now going to drop down to the back. But Eddie O'Shea, fantastic move for him round the outside of Bailey Stewart Campbell at turn number 1, and he slots himself into the race lead as Bailey Stewart Campbell on the fight back. That looked like a move there being made after turn number 2 from Bailey Stewart Campbell.
Eddie O'Shea's down. Eddie O'Shea's down at turn number 5. Sorry, Chris, to jump over you there just saw the commentary box window. Turn number 5, Eddie O'Shea, your race leader, is out of this race, which leaves Alfie Davidson in the race lead and Dylan Mellor up towards second. So, wow, dramatic scenes in the Mini GP70 class. Eddie O'Shea is out of this race, which means that if it stays the way it is, your second position in championship. Bailey Stewart Campbell currently sits 4th in this race for the moment, will extend that lead, but he's dropping back to 5th as James Cook gets the power down out of turn number 8 down towards the final corner and is now in 4th spot. So it's chopping and changing all over the place, but one thing has not changed since Eddie O'Shea went down is Alfie Davidson, who started 11th in this race, is now leading it.
Yep, fantastic stuff from Davidson to work his way up the order, and currently leading by 2 seconds from Dylan Mellor and Ollie Walker as we settle into this race now, and we are seeing a big there is Eddie O'Shea actually making some places back, starting with Ryan Hitchcock, and that will put him into 7th place. So we'll try and keep up with all the action and give you some live championship updates. Here was the live championship update at the end of the last lap. That will be slightly different by a point or so now, but you can see roughly what the situation is between Stewart Campbell and O'Shea. There's about 12 points in it so far, but Eddie O'Shea is going to move himself closer as he makes that move on Ryan Hitchcock.
So Dylan Mellor, who's now in 2nd, is closing the gap to Alfie Davidson. It was a 2nd as he came across the line now. He did set the fast lap of the race at 54.9. It's now, I can tell you, even closer than that. Alfie Davidson's down at turn number 5. He takes out Dylan Mellor. Dylan Mellor had nowhere to go, so that's now leaving Ollie Walker in the lead of the race. So Alfie Davidson, it's been a problem corner in the last couple of races, lost the rear end, and Dylan Mellor had nowhere to go and clipped the fallen rider just in front of him. Both have now remounted and both are back in the race, but that is disastrous stuff from 2 riders that were sitting in podium positions, which would have been their first of the season. Dylan Mellor was on great form. Alfie Davidson was imperious at the start of this race, but Ollie Walker comes across the line now. He's in the lead of the race ahead of James Cook, who is slightly lapping a couple of times faster than the number 48 rider. Chris, this is absolute manic at the moment.
Absolutely crazy stuff, hard to keep up with, and there is O'Shea past Owen Mellor, so he moves himself up into 4th place now, does Eddie O'Shea, and he goes past Bailey Stewart Campbell. Now what's going on with Bailey Stewart Campbell? He seems to be slowing up ever so slightly, unless that was just Bailey Stewart Campbell momentarily searching for grip, as now down the inside as well. That looks like a move from Alfie Davidson as he begins to remake some places back. Oh, contact there. Stewart Campbell. Oh, O'Shea's gone. O'Shea's gone again, down at turn number 6, and Eddie O'Shea for the 2nd time in this race has fallen, and from the lead of the race, and a fantastic move at turn 1, Liam, is now fallen on its head. He's gone out twice now, and Eddie O'Shea is going to be well out of the top 10 after that.
Such a shame for Eddie O'Shea.
He's out.
He is out, yes, he's walking away. Such a shame for Eddie O'Shea. Bailey Stewart Campbell, who he was fighting with for 2nd in championship, didn't seem to know that Eddie O'Shea was coming around the outside, sat the bike up to avoid contact. That pushed O'Shea out wide, and he tried to crack the throttle open, and another tricky corner. He just lost the rear end and spun out. There's another yellow flag out there.
Someone else has
gone down further at turn number 3. Not sure who that is.
Is that Cook?
That's Cook. James Cook out of
James
2nd
Cook's
place.
Gone.
It's limping away, so everyone is falling like flies out there. To win this race, you've got to stay on it, and that is what Ollie Walker's doing on bike number 48. So Alfie Davidson will move back into 2nd spot in this race. He was leading it, crashed out. O'Shea is out of this race. He went down a lap or 2 ago, so Eddie O'Shea is out of this race. But as Ollie Walker ticks off the laps, he's the only one who seems to have not made a mistake for the moment. And we wait for the other riders to come across the line. 7.5 seconds. Alfie Davidson is back in a sec. Well spotted there, Chris. That's brilliant.
Wow.
Now, Dylan Mellor is still the fastest rider on the track. He's now behind Owen Mellor. So Dylan Mellor crashed out with Alfie Davidson a number of laps ago. So Dylan Mellor and Alfie Davidson are making their way through the field with 3.5 laps remaining. Alfie Davidson, with the speed that he showed, he could potentially try and catch Ollie Walker in the closing stages of this race.
It looks like Stewart Campbell has just made a move. Either that or he's losing a place. In fact, it's Joe Farragher putting the pressure, the number 47 there, trying to get past Bailey Stewart Campbell. He's going to look to the outside now at turn number 6. Joe Farragher also closing in on this is Ryan Hitchcock. It's hard to know where to look. You've kind of just got to try and look out for the yellow flags. but almost a moving fact. Yet Joe Farragut is through over at turn 8 past Bailey Stewart Campbell. Well, it's all going off everywhere. Meanwhile, out front, Ollie Walker on the number 48 is currently leading the way. He's coming up towards turn number 5, I believe, now. And Ollie Walker is doing a fantastic job. You can see in the predominantly silver bike there, he's just heading through turn 5. Now up towards the turn 6, the right-hand hairpin. He's catching traffic, is Ollie Walker, because he's not fallen off, and he's still setting a very
he's
good
down!
pace.
Ollie Walker's down in turn number 7. Sorry, Chris, to jump over you there again, but Ollie Walker out of the commentary box window, just saw him slipping off, and that has now left Alfie Davidson, Owen Miller and Dylan Miller in a scrap for the leads.
You know what it was, Liam? I just once all I was saying about him there, and that now he's off. Well, Ollie Walker is now off, and look at the fight for the lead we have now. Alfie Davidson and Owen Miller. All of a sudden we have 3 for the lead. Dylan Miller, who's fastest, is there in 3rd place, and this is a fantastic scrap for the lead in the Mini GP70. Well, riders who have fallen off in this race now find themselves back in the lead again after leading earlier. So Alfie Davidson in the lead of the race. Owen Miller is 2nd. Dylan Miller is in 3rd place. What a scrap this is as they come up towards turn number 7, Liam. Any one of these 3 could win. How many of them are going to stay on, because there's been that many crashes? Oh, wobble there from Alfie Davidson. Live championship points for you. And it is 4:10 for Belford, Stuart Campbell 3:55, 3:36 for O'Shea, 3:01 for Cook. And now Owen Miller pulling to the inside there of Alfie Davidson. We go on to the final lap of the race, and Alfie Davidson is just holding on at the moment from Owen Miller. Dylan Miller also sat in there as well. They're catching traffic ahead, and any one of these 3 could take the victory. Well, it's been a case of if you can stay on your bike, you're going to get to the front. No one has really been able to do that, so it's been a case of who can recover the quickest after falling off the bike. And Alfie Davidson now leading. It's Eddie O'Shea that they've caught up, who's had 2 falls in this race. Dylan Miller now trying to get up the inside. Owen Miller trying to get up the inside to take the lead. It could be a drag race to the line here. Alfie Davidson is going to lead us into the penultimate corner for the final time. Miller and Dylan Miller just behind. Who is it? It's going to take the flag. Well, it's going to be Alfie Davidson down on the deck, back to take the win. What a fantastic ride, and he'll breathe a big sigh of relief there after the dramas he had. But Alfie Davidson was down, got back up, and came back fighting and takes the race win. Fantastic stuff from Alfie Davidson. What do you do when you go down and think you're out? You don't give up, and that's exactly what Alfie Davidson did, and that is why he becomes a deserved race winner in the Mini GP70s. I'm out of breath.
I don't blame you there, Chris. That was a tough race to keep up with. Who didn't crash, I want to know, in that race? But Alfie Davidson prevailed after his earlier fall, where he took out Dylan Miller in 1st and 2nd. Wow, what a race. Chris absolutely well called the last couple of laps there. I was biting my nails. I'm glad I wasn't speaking, because I was too nervous to mention anything that was happening in that race. So, as the race got underway, it was Bailey Stewart Campbell from pole position, leapt off the line, but late on the brakes it was the 114 of Eddie O'Shea sweeping around the outside and to turn number 1. James Cook was in 3rd. Alfie Davidson coming off 11th on the grid, already in 4th spot. And further back it was Dylan Miller ahead of Owen Miller, but then there was bumping and boning further down the field, and lap number 1, and Carter Brown hightailed himself out of contention coming out of turn number 6. Shame there from the number 37 of Carter Brown. Alfie Davidson at the end of lap number 1 powers past Ollie Walker and towards the final corner, but Ollie Walker retaliates into turn number 1, but Alfie Davidson wasn't having any of it. Disaster for Harrison Crosby. He was the first of many followers throughout that race. Then Bailey Stewart Campbell tiptoeing his way around the circuit in front of James Cook, but it was your race leader Eddie O'Shea who went down after a 4-second gap. But then it was your new race leaders Alfie Davidson and Dylan Mellor who crashed out at turn number 5. Alfie Davidson crashed out, Dylan Mellor had nowhere to go, so they both crashed into each other, but both remounted, as we will see later on in the race. But Eddie O'Shea was making his way through the field ahead of Owen Mellor, and to fourth spot just behind behind Billy Stewart Campbell. Alfie Davidson, after his early crash, making his way through the field, but then and towards turn at number 6, Eddie O'Shea round the outside of Stewart Campbell, sets up Eddie O'Shea offline, loses the rear end, nearly takes out Alfie Davidson for a second time. Billy Stewart Campbell misses the wreckage as well, but that put Eddie O'Shea to the back of the pack once again. Off camera was James Cook going down at turn at number 3, limping away, so a big crash for the number 44 of James Cook. Then it was Ollie Walker who went down into turn number 7, leading the race by over 4 seconds. And then he gifted the race lead to Alfie Davidson, who held off and towards the final lap over Owen Mellor as he looked over his shoulder. Dylan Mellor a second further back on the red machine, but then it was the top 3 to battle it out as it came across our finish line, and it was Alfie Davidson picking up his first win of the season in the Mini GP70s ahead of Owen Mellor and Dylan Mellor, picking up their first podium positions after a titanic and dramatic Mini GP70 race number 2. They will be back out on track for the final race of the day a little bit later on.